You're listening to The Sports Fix.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck, home of the low price tire guarantee. quicklane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
Sports Fix listeners, don't wait all day or all week to get in on the fun. The party doesn't stop when we go off the air all week long. The Sports Fix social media sites are your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. Jump over to Facebook.com/The Sports Fix, Facebook.com/The Sports Fix, and become a fan today because we love fans and they create some of the best sports talk in town, Daddy. You'll enjoy talking to your fellow Cleveland sports fans on the Sports Fix fan page. And if Twitter's your thing, well, you know how we do it. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix CLE. It's that simple.
Twitter.com/The Sports Fix CLE, baby.
Chat live with the crew during all your favorite Cleveland sports events, tickets and contests and trivia and so much more. Get with us today, The Sports Fix on social media. Facebook.com/The Sports Fix. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix CLE. Join The Sports Fix on Facebook and Twitter today.
I'm Tyler Zeller, and you're listening to The Sports Fix.
Live in Ohio, it's time to get your fix. The Sports Fix.
It is indeed. Welcome in. Time to get that fix, baby. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Welcome in each and every one of you. Another day, baby, another dollar here. Tuesday edition of the Sports Fix coming your way live across the Sports Fix Radio Network. And there we go. Let's try to act like we've been in radio more than a day or two here. Welcome in across the Sports Fix Radio Network. Another jam-packed edition here on Tuesday. Got a lot coming up on the schedule today, looking forward to it, and a rapid-fire show. We've got several guests, boom, 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 coming up in the later parts of the show, guys, as we get rolling here. Welcome in across the radio network. You guys know that vast spectrum that includes TuneIn and TuneIn's radio app worldwide. Many of you listen to us on your digital devices there. Of course, the home base, our launching place every day, thesportsfix.net, where many of you listen to the show right there on the website, across your browsers and home pages and all of that stuff. Welcome in across Spreaker and Mixlr Live. Those of you guys that hang out in the Mixlr chat room, welcome to those of you on Spreaker, their digital apps as well. Everybody who listens 24/7 on iHeartRadio, the world's largest internet radio provider, on digital delay around the world, on SoundCloud, on iTunes. Those of you who subscribe to us there, who download, subscribe, get the feed, no matter what the platform is. There's dozens of them across the spectrum. That's why I say Sports Fix Radio Network. Thank you guys for being with us here once again for, like I said, a Tuesday edition of The Fix here. And I want you to be a part of the show. Today we'll have windows early, open, and late. 216-539-7535, the number to call. 216-539-7535. If you can't get to the phones, perhaps you're listening to us on your phone, hit us up on your social media. Facebook, search for The Sports Fix, or just look for facebook.com/The Sports Fix, or on Twitter, tweet with us at The Sports Fix CLE, all one word. You can email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com, and stay in touch with the show 24/7, not just live when we're on the air, but off the air as well. And definitely make sure also that you like the page while you're there. Join the 21,000 sports fans and fans of the Sports Fix over there on the Sports Fix Facebook page. Guys, get rolling here. A slate, as I said, of guests coming your way. Jeff Gorman from Indians101.com. He's going to join us. He's with me just about 10 minutes from now. We'll get the first break out of the way. Jeff Gorman will roll with us. We'll talk about the latest with the playoffs and do a little Indians chat with him. Always a good time when Jeff's with us. Dr. Football, Bill Checkus. He's here every Tuesday talking football, hence the Dr. Football, the whole moniker. He'll be with us today, no difference, talking about the Browns. We'll get his thoughts on the Browns coming out of the Titans' victory. Mike Holmgren making a comeback. Is Holmgren coming back? We'll see what Dr. Football's got to say about that. Look at some of the early results from the Browns' defense. Pittsburgh coming on and more. Some football talk with the doctor in the house. Dr. Football, Doug Plagens, my man, Dougie P. He's here. talking Monsters hockey because they're not just talking it, but they're doing it this week. They've got the season opener and the home opener coming up in just a couple of days. Doug Plagens is going to join me live from Monsters Camp as they're wrapping things up and getting themselves ready for another Lake Erie Monsters season down at the Q. Looking forward to not only following along with it, but having Doug join us each and every week here as we get through the season, and always a good time. Monsters, you guys know how I feel about the Monsters, so can't wait to have Doug Plagens, the play-by-play for TV and radio voice of the Lake Erie Monsters, joining us here a little bit later on in today's broadcast as well. Speaking of people joining us, before we get too deep into today's show, looking ahead to tomorrow, Dan Wismar is always with us on Wednesday. Special guest in the house tomorrow, CSU Vikings men's basketball head coach Gary Waters. Looking forward to sitting down with Coach Waters for the first time this season. Every year we get a chance to circle up and do this at the beginning of the season, and Coach Waters is going to join us throughout the season as well as we follow along with the Vikings and their latest season here as they continue to really, I'm telling you, I love the Vikes. You guys know that. And Coach Waters putting together a program over there that you can definitely be proud of. Follow along with, love the Vikings, and looking forward to having Coach Gary Waters, head coach of the Cleveland State Vikings men's basketball team, with us here tomorrow. But that's looking ahead to tomorrow here, man. How about looking back to last night before we get too deep into anything? Monday Night Football last night, and I don't know. I probably mentioned this 5 or 6 times before in some of our conversations over the years, but it felt that way again. Russell Wilson, obviously Seattle, looked great last night. I mean, listen, you get 3 touchdowns taken off the board and you still win going away on the road. That's a performance. I mean, now granted, it was Washington, but still, a good performance by them. But Russell Wilson, right, set the record for rushing yards by a quarterback on Monday Night Football. Had a $122 on the ground, and I have Russell Wilson in one of my fantasy leagues that I play in, man. And so he definitely won me a game last night. That's for sure. I came into the game trailing by 20. He got me 38 or 39 by the time it was all said and done. So thank you, Russell Wilson. But the stat was out there last night, most yards in Monday Night Football history. And I was sitting with some friends watching the game. And I said, man, I've said this on my show before, but isn't it different? Monday Night Football, when you hear a stat like that, in Monday Night Football history, it just makes me think of all the years and years of Monday Night Football. And it's changed for me since it went on to cable. I mean, I know it's still Monday Night Football because it's held on a Monday night. Like, I get that part of it. Yes, it's technically Monday Night Football, but I've said before, I feel like the Sunday night game, because it's on broadcast television, that was the key, I thought, that made, besides being the one game separated from everything else each week on the schedule by being on Monday, but being on broadcast TV was a big part of it too, because you didn't have to have cable, you didn't have to have a satellite dish, you didn't have to have direct TV, you didn't have to worry about anything. It was the one game that no matter where you were, whether you were at home, whether you were at an airport somewhere, no matter where you were, that was the game that was on and that could be watched no matter what. You didn't need anything special. So there was always a bigger crowd for it. So to me, like a lot of that same way that I used to go, oh man, going to be a good Monday Night Football game, used to, get up for it. Now with it being on cable, I don't know. Maybe it's not as much to some people because, cable's such a, normal thing, but I don't know. And I think it'll be affected more as people cut the cord. I know people still watch it. I see the ratings. I mean, Monday Night Football still does good ratings, but, it's not the same. I don't know. To me, it's almost like the way I felt about Monday Night Football growing up is kind of the way I look at this Sunday night game now, because it's on national broadcast TV and it's the spotlight's on, but it's just on Sunday night instead, But anyway, it's a little bit of a difference when I heard that, but still, hell of a performance. Percy Harvin, he was the guy, not on just one of them, all of those touchdowns that got called back. Percy Harvin was the one that got called back on all of them. And like I said, when you can have that happen to you and you still win going away on the road, it was a good, strong performance by Seattle. They continue early on to, in my opinion, show why they're a favorite to win this thing again. And again, another victory for them. Russell Wilson, strong game. So, you know what's funny, too, is I don't know. I guess I never realized it before, but there's an underswelling of people that really don't like Russell Wilson out there. I was hanging with some guys last night that are like, my one guy looks at me and goes, man, all right, even I'm going to have to start to admit that Russell Wilson's okay. And I was like, you don't like Russell Wilson, huh? He's like, no, man, I can't stand him. And he's got a litany of reasons why he doesn't like Russell Wilson. And I said, man, is this a thing? And around the room, people were like, yeah, I don't like him either, you know. And I'm like, wow. So I started looking around on the internet. I'm like, there's a whole lot of people. But I think he's a cool guy. I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't know about him. I've liked him. You know, I love the underdog. I love a guy that, you know, it's part of the thing with Hoyer. He's a similar thing. These guys are looked at as being, I'm not going to say he's different because he's younger, but still looked at as an, I hate to say the word afterthought, but partly that's true. Like you saw, he had to, play his way into a spot and then he wasn't giving it back. Same thing with, a guy like Hoyer being the third guy in. And I'm not saying Brian Hoyer's Russell Wilson. Nobody run away and go make a headline out of what I just said. You get the comparison. I'm just kind of making the point I get for that kind of a story for the guy like with Hoyer. He was brought here to be the third guy. And then, Whedon goes down and it's like, do we go, wow, we're going to skip the second guy and go to the third guy? And everybody's like, oh, well, he's the third guy. What can he do? Well, that's what he can do. But anyways, I like Russell Wilson, but I didn't realize that there's a large group of people out there that have issues with him for various reasons. But Seahawks roll 27-17. They go to 3-1 on the season. Redskins fall to 1-4, and a tough loss for them at home. All right, guys, you know what? Let's get the first break out of the way. Well, real quick, I wanted to mention this. I don't want to take too long, but you guys saw, I'm sure, the NBA with the new TV contract. I know everybody's, asking LeBron for comments. I saw some of that in the paper, but tripling their rights fees. I mean, what is it now? It's up to, they were making just a hair under $1 billion a year or whatever, and their rights fees have now been tripled by the new deal that they've signed with TNT and ESPN. Yeah, they were at $930 million a year, just a hair under $1 billion. Now, almost $2.7 billion a year to broadcast these games on television. And with that is obviously going to come a lot of changes. The players are going to want a bigger cut of this, a bigger piece of, and I get that. And that's what a lot of the gist of the stories coming out now is it's time to start working towards the next collective bargaining agreement. And I understand that we're dealing with a big pie and pieces of it and money amounts that don't make any sense to any of us regular Joes out here that just don't understand you don't even comprehend when we're putting billions at the end of dollar signs and money figures and stuff. But the quotes, while okay, in context, when you listen to some of the quotes of guys talking about these negotiating and different things, in the context, of course, they make sense. But when you think of them in reality and you look at the amounts of money you're talking about, you get a laugh. Like I always chuckle when people use the word union to describe a players' association, and I do it too because it's an easy word to use. But they're not a union by that sense of the word. But you listen to them talk about how LeBron said last time we came to the table. And we gave a whole lot back. We gave a lot back, man. This time, we're going to want some of that back. And, and it's give and take. And when I hear about negotiating and giving things back, you think about, I don't know. I just think about much different circumstances than, all right, we'll give you back the $50 million a year credit that you'll get for this. And in exchange, we want no maximum contract, because that's what's coming. That's the big thing that they want. That's what LeBron and those guys want. Is I don't think they want to necessarily eliminate the salary cap, but they want to eliminate the max contract. They want to eliminate the cap on what they could make. And I don't know. I mean, I know there's a truckload of money. How do you argue with it when when the league now will be splitting almost $3 billion a year amongst its team before we open the doors? We